Okay, I've got to admit it. I'm getting tired of thinking about this homeless thing. So I'm going to make this my last I've been thinking episode about this topic. But the thing I've been thinking about most lately is all of the objections, and there are plenty. There is nothing that I can say that makes this the best or the most wonderful plan. The idea of providing MATS shelters, minimally adequate transitional shelters, for the homeless population in the city of Portland, it sounds a little crazy to me. But on the other hand, we don't seem to have any better plan. So I'm going to just spend a couple of minutes talking about some of the objections that I would have concerning this thing, and probably you do too. I jotted a few down here. What do we got? Okay, first of all, where are you going to put them? Good question. All right, next question. No, okay, we've got to address that issue because nobody wants a mass village in their town, in their neighborhood. Matter of fact, it's going on right now. There's a church in Oak Grove that wants to put up people by providing parking overnight for people that are having to live in their cars or in an RV, and the neighborhood is absolutely in an uproar. Now, I can understand that, and if they're in an uproar about RVs and cars parked in a church parking lot under supervision, how much more are they going to be in an uproar if we set up little villages of minimally adequate transitional shelters? So, yeah, I understand that's going to be a big issue. But the question we still got to ask ourselves is this: do we want these people who are without homes, do we want them parking randomly at their discretion any place they choose to? And the answer to that question is plainly no, we don't. And I've just merely suggested that it's comparatively advantageous for us to decide to actually provide designated, supervised areas where social services can be provided, garbage cans can be provided, and a porta potty can be provided. It's not ideal, and I know there's not going to be people that really want one of these villages in their neighborhood, but what are you going to do? They're going to pop up anyway. And maybe we're going to find out that our deepest, greatest fears aren't going to be realized. I know there's a village for single women has been provided in North Portland, and that went along rather nicely. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. On the other hand, maybe we won't. We won't know until we try, will we? Okay, so what kinds of places? Maybe church parking lots, maybe vacant properties that aren't going to be sold for a while that we can ask to be made available for a tax incentive of some kind, perhaps. City properties that are more in industrial areas might be available. I don't know. What's out there? Let's try to find out. Maybe we can find enough places where small groups can be placed, supervised, social services provided. Okay, next question. What about lawless behavior in a village of transitional shelters? Yeah, I think we can count on it. But once again, we get lawless behaviors in tent cities right now, in places where it's more difficult to find those behaviors and stop them before they start. So I'm going to chalk that one over into the comparatively advantageous column. We can have lawless behavior in random tent cities, or we can have them in designated areas which are under the watchful eyes of neighbors and police officers and other officials. Okay, what if the homeless object? Too bad. If you don't like this obligation, which is that you are placed in, if you don't have a home, and you don't have a roof over your head, you have to be in a designated area in a city-provided mats, then if you don't like that, then you're in the wrong city. And there aren't any other options. Sorry about that. You know, I don't know that we need to worry about whether people truly object. The fact is, the situation requires a robustly enforced regulation that says there are no other options except the one we give you. Okay, what about people making Portland a destination city? This is one I've heard about. If we provide housing for people in these small, minimally adequate transitional shelters, what's going to keep Portland from being a destination city? Well, I thought about that, and it's probably a concern, but I wonder about this. A lot of people that are in a homeless condition, when they're interviewed, say that they just don't want to abide by the rules. That's why they don't go into places like temporary shelters. Too many rules they don't want to have to keep, and so I'm wondering if maybe that's a big reason that people come to Portland. There's not that many rules to keep in homeless villages, and we allow those tent cities to be put up right now with a minimum of inconvenience for people who want to live that way. So maybe when the rules are tighter and humanely enforced with a proper alternative according to certain rules and regulations, maybe this won't be the biggest destination city that, as you might imagine. Maybe the fact that there are rules that are enforced and you have to abide by might make Portland less desirable. I don't know. It's worth a thought. Okay. Where's the money? Well, okay, that's an issue, but keep in mind we're already spending, $3.5 million a year moving people around to no lasting effect. I'm thinking that there might be money available if we're not moving people around all the time. Maybe we can divert that money to creating supervisable, serviceable villages of transitional shelters. All right. Why should we want to give these people anything? Well, I don't know that we should. But I do know this. Right now, nothing else is working. And although it might seem a little unfair that we provide a free shelter for somebody who is homeless and on the streets, that may seem unfair. It might seem like it's a responsibility given to us that we don't deserve. But on the other hand, what other choices do we have? It's not getting any better. It's likely to get worse if we don't do something that we can live with. And I guess that's the bottom line for this. Can we live with this? Because we sure can't live with that. All right, I'm done. I'm not going to think any more about this. I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to write this out and put it in some sort of organized fashion and give it to somebody. I don't know who. And maybe we'll see if it flies. If it flies, it does. If it doesn't, at least I got this off my chest. And now I'm going to think about other things.